Hi, here is a bit of a lecture about some of the concepts that you have been reading about and that we have been discussing. I wanted to take this moment to kind of put it into context. So I have provided a couple of examples, and then I have taken examples from some of the work that you have submitted. So let's take our example here of establishing operation. Remember, that can be seen as sort of a motivation, if you will. So the state is that the person is in water deprivation. The SD, remember what signals that reinforcement is possible, is that there's a blue tap on the water cooler. Or you're hungry and the cookie jar is on the counter and has cookies. That right there, the SD signals that the possibility exists that you could get a cookie. So that's what the SD, the discriminative stimulus, does. It signals that reinforcement is possible. You also started reading about an antecedent, and that starts the three-term contingency, the ABC, which I believe we go through fully in the next week. But I wanted to talk about antecedents. As you can see, it kind of starts this chain or the sequence of events. So for some examples, an antecedent could include what is 2 plus 2. You can imagine the behaviors that would occur after someone asks, what is 2 plus 2? Or toddler sees Legos. Or if you're sitting at a wake, this was someone's example. They were sitting at a wake, and then, what happened after that? People cried. Picking up a device at AT&T, that's the first start, and then the behavior that occurred, people asked questions. So the antecedent starts it all. And this is really important to pick out because, for example, if you're looking at behavior in classroom and something happens consistently or frequently and you're trying to kind of get a grasp on the situation, you're going to want to know what comes immediately before the target behavior. And that is the antecedent. The antecedent is what happens right before the target behavior. Another antecedent gives students a scripture textbook, starts a sequence of events. So let's look at a little bit in full sequence here. So our establishing operation is that we're cold. We're in a cold room. The SD is that the window is open, signals that reinforcement is possible. The antecedent, person sees the window. The behavior, they close the window, and the consequence of that is it reduces the chill. In that example right there, something that could be elicited would be goosebumps. And something that would be emitted is that someone closed the window. Remember, elicit is more often associated with an involuntary reflex, where emit is a choice behavior. So here's another example that includes kind of the whole picture. And we'll discuss this next week after the reading as well. So just kind of previewing. So the establishing operation, you're thirsty. The SD, you're standing in a club or a bar that's open. That's signaling that reinforcement is possible. The antecedent, you see the bartender. So that is going to be the behavior that kind of sets this sequence. You see the bartender, you order a drink, and this reduces the thirst. In this example, the illicit behavior, or a behavior that would be elicited, would be dry mouth. Now, of course, you're going to have to ask someone about that. You wouldn't likely see their dry mouth unless they're opening it for you. And emit, scratchy voice for ordering a drink. Again, the difference between an involuntary reflex to a degree and something that they're choosing to do. So again, this is kind of previewing what is coming up, but also taking some of the example behavior that you observed when you were people watching and thinking about it as an antecedent. That is how kind of a behavior chain, a sequence of behaviors began. And many of you wrote about it the way that you wrote it up. So take this week and think about what behaviors are you seeing as antecedents? That is, they are something that's happening to kind of put in a sequence of behaviors. Or if you have picked a particular behavior, we'll say, for example, sneezing. What is something that happens, right before the sneeze? That would be the antecedent. Or what happens when you're getting someone in front of you is switches lanes. What did they do right before they switched lanes? Whatever they did right before they switched lanes is the antecedent, as long as you've made the target behavior switching lanes. So again, the antecedent is what comes before the target behavior. And we'll be talking about this a little bit more. If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great day.